Before you check Instagram, X, Facebook, Blue Cross, which one is the new one? Blue Sky, or even your emails, you need to be checking this tab on your Rocket Money app, right? That is the transaction tab. This is where you should be every single day. Those notifications on this tab should be popping, okay? The most important notifications you should be getting every single day are your transaction notifications. When it comes to the Rocket Money app, every single day, or any of your financial dashboard apps, you need to be in the transaction tab. You need to be checking, what did I spend today? What category? Put them in the right category right there and then. That is your daily bread. That is your daily task. Say it, the money lords. This transaction in your Rocket Money app is your daily financial reality check. It's where you track what's really happening with your money, not just what you think is happening with your money, right? So whether you are right now, whether you're building a business, you have X, Y, and Z personal goals, you're trying to save aggressively, or you're paying that off debt, you need to know what you are spending money on a daily basis, right? And this is really how you make financial decisions based on data and not vibes. So what I am doing today is walking you through exactly how to understand, use, and to know all of the different features of the transaction tab inside of Rocket Money, and why, honestly, this should be the first app you open every morning, or you close every day before you go to bed. After you said your prayer, now I lay me down to sleep, you open your app and you're like, how much did I spend, Lord? Okay? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started, please the algorithm gods by giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Hello everyone, welcome to Lessons Lived. My name is Nandi. If you are new here, I am so glad you found us. Ours is a community of ambitious women who take action. We leverage our full-time jobs to build scalable businesses. So if you, my darling, are ready to turn your career into capital, your expertise into income, and your business into a legacy, you are in the right place. Let's go ahead and get started talking about the most important app you should be checking on a daily basis, right? So what I wanted to do today is talk about the importance of every single day tracking what you are spending money on. So you are going to be watching over my shoulders, right, as I walk you through the transaction tab inside of Rocket Money. I will show you how to review your transaction, categorize them so that you can stay on top of your spending without any guesswork or guilt. Before I move on this particular tutorial, this is going to be part of a full series that I'm going to be launching in the next month about how to deep dive into Rocket Money. This is the Rocket Money Deep Dive Tutorial. I had previously, I think a few months ago, created the overall kind of like tutorial. This is a quick one. Get in there. Here are the different things that Rocket Money does. Today, however, and in the next few weeks, I'm going to be isolating tab per tab and taking you into a deep dive of how you can use these tabs to really manage your money like the boss that I know you are. But before we go, I want to kind of show you the flow of how all of these different tabs work together to help you effectively manage your money. On the left hand sidebar, the left-hand sidebar, you will see all of these different tabs for Rocket Money. So the way the flow is going to work every single day. Of course, you will have the tab on your phone, but you also have access to it on your computer. Every single day, you should be checking the transactions for that day. How much did I spend today? You will get on the app and you will look at how much money you spent for that day. Is everything categorized the way it should be categorized? This should be 5 minutes every single day, maximum. That's all it should take you. Every single week, we then move on to the spending tab. This is where now, at the end of the week, you are looking at the week before. Okay, what did my spending look like in terms of trends? Which categories did I spend more money on? Which category did I spend less money on? On a daily basis, you're in the weeds, right? You may not have a good overview of how you are tracking. This is where that spending tab is really important because it shows you your trends. It breaks everything into categories so you can really see, well, how am I doing on the categories that are more or less important, etc. But then after you've done that spending analysis of how you spent during the week, now you are going to be looking at the upcoming week. What kind of spending is upcoming in the next week? This is where the recurring tab comes in, right? In the recurring tab, you are looking at the overview of what is coming next, okay? And then at the end of every month, you will go back into your spending and your recurring tab to now get a full overview of, okay, how did I do for the month? What is coming up for next month? And then you will move on to the budgeting tab. In the budgeting tab, you will set your intentions for the next month or for the current month, right? So at the beginning of every month, you set your intentions for that month. How much do I want to spend on X, Y, and Z category? If you're not really comfortable or familiar with categories, don't worry. I have a full video over here that helps you understand budgeting categories because that is the foundation of every budget. But the good thing about budgeting softwares is that you don't have to sit there and over or second guess yourself. Just connect your different accounts and the app is going to start determining what the different budgeting categories are for you. And every single day, using the transaction tab, as you check your expenses, you will be able to switch up things as you see fit. It's really important that I reiterate, and I will keep reiterating throughout this whole series, this is personal finance. Your finances, not mine, not your mom, not your dad's, yours. And because this is personal finance, i.e., your personal finance, you will determine how to set your categories. At the beginning, anything that's new is clunky and uncomfortable, but sit in that discomfort because very soon you will have it so under control. It won't be a thing. Okay? So that is going to be the flow of how you will use the full Rocket Money software to its best and greatest capability. The budgeting tab is what you do at the beginning of every month. The transaction tab that we're about to go to today, that is your daily bread. The spending, the recurring tab, that is your weekly financial check-ins. Okay? So now, without further ado, I did a whole lot of chit-chatting. Let's jump right into the transaction tab where you will learn everything about how to set up your category, how to add transactions, how to delete transaction, how to exclude transactions. So all of the goodies that are involved in this particular tab. Come watch over my shoulders, okay? Like a beautiful little raven. Let's go to the transaction tab on the left-hand side, right down over here on the transaction with this little magnifying glass. We will click on transaction. This is what the transaction interface looks like. Right at the very top here, this is where you can search for your transactions, because usually when it comes to transactions, there are so many transactions. So right over here, it says search for transactions. So you can search, let's say Walmart. All of the Walmart transactions have populated for me. You can only search transaction names. You cannot search transaction amounts. So let's try 350. Nothing is showing up. You can't search transaction categories. Let's say shopping. Nothing is showing up. I tried 350 earlier. I don't know why this is showing up. McDonald's, maybe it's called McDonald's 350. But the only way that you can use this bar up here is to search for transactions. Now, right next to the search bar, you have the ability to export transactions. Right now, nothing is selected. If I click on export, it would export all transactions. And if I click on that, I will get a big email of all of my transactions. And I do not want that. Right next to that, you can sort in different ways. Currently, it's sorting it by date, and it's sorting based on the earliest date, which for me right now was August 11th. But you can also sort by amount. And now it has sorted it by amount, and based on sorted by amount, the highest transaction I have is right over here at $47,000 because I bought a house last year and that was the down payment for the house. So we will go back to sorted by date. So right over here under the search bar, you have lots of options to filter transactions. You can filter by date, by category, by accounts, or by amounts. So let's take a look at how you can filter transactions by dates. So the first one that is most common is all dates. However, you can filter it in any way you want to. You can filter by the last 7 days. You can filter by the last 30 days, the last 90 days, this month, last month, this year, last year, or you can customize it. Let's say you just wanted to see from the 6th through the 8th. And then you can set that and you will only see dates from the 6th to the 8th, transactions from the 6th to the 8th, okay? Let's say you wanted to see last year's transactions. Now you have last year's transactions. And this is what's also very interesting. So now that you filtered just last year's transactions, you could export it and it will only export the transactions that are filtered. Let's say you wanted to filter the last 30 days. Now it's filtered by just the last 30 days. And if you came here and you exported transactions, you will only be exporting the transactions you have filtered. All right, let's look at last month's transactions. Now it's only showing last month's transactions. Once again, 45 total, which are last month's transactions. Okay, so we'll clear those filters. Now let's take a look at categories. Up top in the search bar, we could not search per categories, but here we could. Let's say I wanted to look at shopping. Now I will filter only the shopping categories. So there's that option. And let's look at accounts. Here in accounts, same thing. Now you can search per account. Let's say I wanted to do Capital One. I'm going to filter the Capital One Saver card. We'll click on that. So right over here, I filtered only from that one specific credit card. You could also filter by amounts. And when you filter by amounts, you have many different options. You can filter the exact amount. You can filter between numbers. You can filter a set amount that's greater than, or you can filter an amount that is less than. Okay, so let's filter an amount that is between 10 and 170. So now we only have amounts that are between 10 and 170. Okay, so that is how you filter transactions. We will clear all the filters. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at now the actual transactions themselves. You can select various transactions and edit all of them at the same time. So I could change categories. So I'll take these 3 transactions. I'm going to change categories to, let's say, family care. Click apply. And now all 3 of those are changed to family care. I'm going to undo that because that's not what I want to do. I just want to show it to you as an example. So we'll select those again and show you how I could rename all these 3 transactions. And I'll rename them to testing 1. Okay. Now all of them are now called testing 1. Now I'm going to undo that. You could also ignore them. You could ignore from budget, or you could ignore from everything. Let's say we are going to ignore from everything. Apply. Now you see they are all ignored. We'll undo that. Okay, so this is how you can make one change to multiple transactions at the same time. So we'll go ahead and clear that. So if I wanted to select all of them, I will click here on the date button, but that's not what we want to do. If I individually select, I have this, but if I wanted to undo that, I will click over here on the date and then that's gone. So here are things that you can actually change in this interface. You can change the name, you can change the category, you can change the actions, okay? But you cannot change the amount and you cannot change the date. So let's say I wanted to change this to water payment, okay? Instead of a check, let's say it's not really a check, it's a water payment. So that name is updated. I can now set it up as a rule if I wanted to, but we are not going to, and we'll show you that here in a little bit. Categories, I could easily come over here and change this into X category, right? Now it's bills and utilities. Notes, I could say this is water bill from X property. So I can update my notes directly from here, and AI can even help me write it. Write more confidently anywhere from the web. So water bill, elaborate. Let's see what ChatGPT is going to come up with. Water bill from excess property. The payment covers the usage of associated fee for the property located at XX. It's important to assure timely payment. So we'll replace it with that. Why not? You can ignore this from the budget, right? Or we can ignore from the budget, or we can ignore from everything, or don't ignore. So all of these things are things that you can change, but you cannot change it directly from here. Now, right over here, there's a little arrow. If you wanted to make more adjustments, you can click on this and make more adjustments to this particular transaction. And here are the adjustments that you can actually make. You can, once again, from here, change the category. You could change the notes. Clearly, I don't want all of this mumbo jumbo. I would delete it. Water bill from X property. You can make this tax deductible. It's a water bill. It's for a rental property, so we'll make it tax deductible. We have don't ignore, but now I've changed my mind and I want to ignore it. So now it's ignore from all. And something else that you can do here is split transactions. This is very common if, for example, you regularly shop at big box stores, right? Costco, Walmart, Target. And usually when you're going to shop at those stores, you are most likely buying for multiple categories in the same transaction. So you could be buying home stuff, you could be buying groceries, you could be buying home and garden. So let's say we wanted to split this transaction. There are many different ways to split a transaction. You can split by a specific amount. So let's say we wanted this to be $100. This will be $250, right? And this right here, the name will keep the same, but we wanted to change this to, for example, be instead of bills and utilities, it's going to be dining and drinks. Okay? So now this has completely changed. If we click save, we will see the saved transaction. Now you see that? That is now split. You have water payment, dining and drinks, bills and utilities. Both of them are still hidden from everything, but I could unhide this. I'm going to unhide this transaction. Do not ignore. Okay, so now it's green and you can see it again because it's no longer ignored. Now we'll ignore it again from everything and it went back to being gray. Same thing here. If I wanted to ignore from everything, it's gray. But if I wanted to not ignore it, it's black because it's an expense. Now let's go back into this transaction. All right. Now, instead of splitting it by amount, you can also split into equal amounts. This is the easiest one. Or you can split them by percentage. So if we wanted to split by percentage, let's say this one is going to be 75% and this is going to be 25%. So now it's total 0% left. If it was not 0%, it would alert me, right? So if we save it, we will see the changes reflected. But I actually want to remove this split. So I will click here on the remove and it has restored this transaction into the regular $350 transaction. So there is that. So now let's look at how you could add different rules. If you click on here, you could add a different rule. Let's say this transaction name is CHK. I want all transactions that contain CHK to change categories. If we click on continue, so all of the changes I make here would apply to all 25 transactions. I can click on that and there's no category selected and we want to change all of these transactions into charitable donations. I want to rename all of these transactions into dad payment or something, let's say charitable donation, gift for family or something like that. I don't know. And I want to assign them a particular bill and transaction. So for example, if you are one of those people who's connected all of your different accounts, let's say you added your assets and your liabilities for a mortgage, for example. In a mortgage, you added the asset, which is the value of the home, but you also added the liability, which is the mortgage payment. You could connect them here, right? And apply that mortgage payment to that particular asset or to a particular bill. So you could add that here and change. Okay, so I wanted to add this to this X, Y, and Z. You could ignore transactions. You could mark as deductible, okay? And then when you click on save that rule, it would apply to all of these different transactions, okay? Now, if you click on here, you will now be able to view the history of this particular transaction. So now by clicking on this little arrow here on the left-hand side, we are going to go back to all of the different transactions. So from this dashboard, you cannot change the date. But if you click on this arrow, you could change the date for this particular transaction, right? So updated transaction date to August 11th. So that transaction date is updated. So you could change the transaction date here. But why would you want to be able to do that? So hopefully that gives you a good overview. I will show you a couple of things here. What I found to be very interesting and what I do not see is how you can manually add a transaction. I know with other softwares you can do that, but it doesn't seem like you could do that with Rocket Money, but with other platforms you can. If you click here under the setting, on that gear for setting, you could actually look at all of the different transactions you've set for yourself. So here are all of the different transactions that you have set. The interesting thing here is that you could review these transactions and remove the rules. So I'm going to remove the rule. You could also modify the rules. So whatever modifications you wanted to make. All right, so I'm going to remove this particular rule removed. All right. You may choose to undo any changes made by this rule or keep any previous changes to this rule. So we are going to undo the past changes. Okay. Let's go back here to the transaction. You could also add a rule. Let's say I wanted all transactions under Ross Dress for Less to go into a different categorization. So I will come over here and I will change the category. Let's say I want it to be personal care. And I will change it to personal care. Save. Right? Rule created. 29 transactions from Ross are now under personal care. Okay, now all of those transactions are under personal care. We'll go back here to transaction and now we see this particular rule. I'll click on this and I'm going to remove this rule. Undo those changes. Rule deleted. It has restored my category. Okay. What I can also do here is update the categories. Let's say I wanted to add a fashion category for Ross. Okay, I'm going to pick my little icon for fashion. Let's say it's going to be this gift. And I want it to be pink because I'm sassy like that. Category, this is going to be an expense. Let's say we wanted to mark it as tax deductible because I'm a fashion YouTube influencer. So we'll click save. Now there's a fashion category. Let's come over here under rules and I want to set a brand new rule. I'm not busy. I'm clearly using it. You're right in front of you using it. So here under transactions, we want to add a new transaction. So name, Ross. Now we want to change all of the categories to fashion. Now all of it has been changed to fashion. Okay. So that is another way you could kind of like set all of your rules. You could track them. If there's a rule that you do not care for or that you want to remove, you can come over here and remove any rule that you see fit. And you can also reset all of your rules as well if you have too many and you want to start from scratch. All right, so that is a comprehensive review of the transaction tab. So that was your full walkthrough of the transaction type inside of Rocket Money. So if you've been wondering why your financial goals aren't sticking, it might be because you are not reviewing what is actually happening to your money day to day. So start treating this tab like your own personal financial dashboard, right? Because it is, right? So let me know in the comments below, though, Do you check your transactions on a daily basis? Have you caught any surprising using this particular feature? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more tools, tutorials, and systems to help you manage your money, manage your time, become more disciplined, learn how to build real wealth with no fluff, please do subscribe, because on this channel, I am all about demystifying wealth building, us doing it as a community, especially women in corporate America that have ambitions of building their own scalable side businesses. We want your finances to be as intentional as your career and your business ambitions. So keep building, keep living, and keep learning, my darlings. Thank you for joining me on this video, and I will see you in the next video that would most likely be the spending categories video. Thank you so much, and you, my darling, have a great day.